Right,
Guys,
guys,
we
nice.
are live now. How do you guys like the jingle just now? It was really something done by Manfred. So
Yes.
really appreciate that little effort. Seriously, I've been wanting to do this for a long time. It's been,
That was pretty good, isn't it?
just like it was very interesting. It was very interesting.
Yeah.
So you guys, if you guys like it, right, this is actually going to Manfred. Manfred,
Yes.
really work hard on
Our
that thing.
TikTok guy and video
Yeah,
person.
our TikTok guy and all this, right? So, okay, guys, welcome to the Three Marketeers Show. This is episode 59, and today we have a very special guest, Azhar. Thank you for joining us. Now, guys, if you are watching this for the first time, please say hi to Azhar. Today, we're going to talk about SEO, which is a very, very, in my opinion, is a very serious, important, but it's a very complicated and confusing topic. So, I'm really looking forward to learn so much from Azhar tonight. And guys, you're in for a treat as well. Remember, if you have any questions at all, type in the comment section. Later on, we're going to bring it up as and when we have so-called, we have the, in between that we can actually bring it up. So Chiwai is already here. What's up, Chiwai? And you say
Hey, Chiwai.
you like the new teaser. This is the only teaser we've ever made, the only teaser that, credit goes to Manfred. Seriously, credit goes to Manfred.
After
And
one year
Chiwai say it's your
live.
favorite music clip for slideshow. Seriously, wow, you guys can be good friend already. You guys
Great
got to
marketing's
talk.
a lot, yeah. Great marketing's
Yeah,
a lot.
seriously, man. Okay, guys. Today, now we have another friend here. So like, Lee is actually saying hi to
Sure,
us.
Li King, yeah, my cosmate.
LK.
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome in, guys. Now, today's we have Azhar Katib here from Singapore, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah, Azhar is Manfred's teacher and mentor. So I think I probably want to allow Manfred to give us a deeper introduction about Azhar. Please, Manfred.
Okay. So first of all, I want to tell the audience you are in for a treat. Okay, it is very rare that we invite a heavyweight here. Okay, Azhar really know his stuff in terms of SEO and SEM. And honestly speaking, I attended at least 3 SEO training, and I find his is the best. Because other SEO training I took, I learned the theory. I after end of lesson, I still blur because there's no hands-on. So he's actually introducing hands-on, go through the whole process. You understand what you learn and apply to it. It's just an introduction, but you have roughly an idea how to play with the tool and learn more about SEO. So without taking too much limelight, okay, Azhar, you take over. Yeah, just briefly
Azhar,
introduce yourself.
please share with
Sure.
us a bit of background of
Okay.
yourself and all. Yeah.
Sure. Thanks. Thank you, gentlemen, for having me on this show. And I'm excited to be part of this interesting conversation. I think Manfred has already begun by setting the bar quite high for me with all the kind and encouraging words. So yeah, let's get on with it. So let me start with just a brief introduction about myself, right, and then we can get the conversation going. So yeah, I've been active in the digital marketing space for the past, I think, nine years or so. Right. And what started as a side hustle for me is now my main profession. So, I basically run, a boutique marketing agency here in Singapore. And we basically help SMEs with their online presence. Now, online presence is a very wide field, and our focus is mainly on doing websites, doing content, and most importantly, search marketing. So yeah, so SEO and SEM is are our core competencies, and we think SMEs are quite underserved in this area of digital marketing. So that's where we have our value proposition, and we try to enable bring them online visibility on search engines, right? So yeah, and what I practice, I also preach. So I am a trainer, I'm an adult educator, and I'm quite active with Singapore Skills Futures programs here, and I happen to meet Manfred through one of these programs. Practice and preaching, these are the two things which keeps me busy most of the time. Digital marketing is 8 or 9 years old for me. Prior to that, bulk of my experience has been in systems. I was in the corporate world previously, managing systems, architecting data warehouses, working with data. So all that IT background, IT blood really helps because now things are going digital, right? Marketing is also digital, so it certainly helps. Yeah. So yeah, that's some background about my professional side.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Azhar. Thank you for the introduction. Now, okay, like LK was actually rooting for, like, seriously, Azhar has done very good website for his clients. Guys, if you guys probably need some help in terms of like SEO advice, right? I just want to quickly cue this, although it's a bit too early. Azhar has got his own digital marketing program. So in case you guys need some help, probably want to learn about like what Manfred already mentioned just now, one of his best trainer he has ever met. So you probably want to actually check out his program, right? So we have got a question for Azhar before we even want to roll into the first one. Now, this
this is very important.
This is very important. I think this is very important. I think we need to learn. We need to find out about this thing. How is Manfred as your student?
Actually.
Manfred, he's a curious guy. Likes to ask lots of questions, and that keeps the class lively and happening. I kind of love these kind of students. Otherwise the class is very quiet and it kind of gets lonely talking alone. So yeah, I would I would really like to have more students like Manfred.
Okay, that's a good one. Manfred, lucky you. And TY, good question.
Honestly speaking, when you ask a class and they keep quiet, there's only two possibilities. One is they really know it really, or they seriously don't know. So, but honestly, do you think that they really know everything?
So this is another version of Manfred lah.
I don't know what kind of version it will come out.
Okay, let's go to the questions now. Yeah, so I think the guests are all waiting for.
I was thinking that we want to drill deeper on this thing, Manfred. Like, wow. Okay, now
it's an important question, very important.
Yeah. Okay, let's come up with the first one. Azhar, I think this is a very important thing that I think a lot of people would like to find out. As in, like, if I'm really like looking to start or really looking to learn SEO, so what are the skills required in order to do good? I mean, as in like do a good job in SEO.
Right. So I think SEO is a multifaceted discipline, isn't it? There are a few things we need to know in order to really make a difference, right? So if you look at it vertically, one is the content part. You have to be good in content, right? SEO is cornerstone. Content is cornerstone for SEO. Without good content, you can't do SEO these days. So when it comes to content marketing, content creation skills, these are key, right? And content obviously has a process, right? It starts with ideation, planning, then creation, then kind of optimizing it, promoting it, and measuring it, right? So all these different steps when it comes to content. So I mean having good skills on doing content, that's number one. Number two is a bit of technical skills which are required. And these technical skills are basically, again, related to managing websites, right? Because at the end of the day, we are trying to get our websites visible on Google. So website design and development expertise is good to have. Things like technical SEO, which are very key in order to make your website visible, right? And third part, I would say, would be PR and outreach skills. Right now, one of the most difficult components of SEO is link building, off-page optimization. That means things which Google will look in order to see your authority, and these are the things which are beyond your control. It's things which you do off your website, right? Now, to do this, you require not only good content, not only a good website, but you also need the kind of content amplification skills, right? So you need to reach out to other people, basically distribute your content, amplify your content, and get them to link back to you, right? So if I were to see that these are the three key vertical skill set you need to have: content, websites, and outreach and PR skills. Of course, to package this together, you require a bit of strategy and planning also, right? To set the direction. You need to know the business, what kind of keywords you want to optimize. And of course, then comes the measurement part to track performance of your SEO efforts. Yeah, so I think from a skill set point of view, I think these are the three things you ought to know.
Wow, it sounds very simple, but it actually looks like something that we really have to dive deep, especially the PR part. I mean, kind of like, okay, we learn a bit about SEO, but seriously, the PR part is really something that I totally agree that is beyond our control. But what would be the easier way to get some help from anyone who to actually link back to us? Is there any easy way, or is there any, like, can we buy?
Yes, we certainly can buy links, but honestly speaking, Google doesn't want website owners to indulge in any form of paid method of acquiring backlinks. Obviously, Google cannot check each and everything, but what Google loves is editorial, what we call as editorial links. That means if your content is good, if your user experience is good, right, then people should link to you naturally, right? It's yeah, like it's like if you're doing something really exciting, something new in town, you might get a press coverage, right, from the newspapers and all that naturally, right, without you even having to pay for it. So yeah, so these are the kind of editorial links which Google prefers, and of course these are easier done than said, right, because especially for small businesses who are starting out on a very small scale, lower scale, this is kind of tough. So yeah, so I think from that point of view, this is one area which really requires effort and a lot of persistence and strategy and planning, and also good content, yeah, in order to achieve.
So the idea of stuffing your website with keywords and let Google do its job is no longer sufficient. You need to do a lot of outreach.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So these are some of the old ways of doing SEO, stuffing keywords, hiring a resource from a low cost center to go and build backlinks from, these very, yeah, I mean, these kind of methods are no longer effective. In fact, they can even attract penalties. So the methods of the yesteryears may now be penalties. So you have to be really careful while doing this kind of things.
Yeah.
So what about those like those businesses that have already done it for many years? Is there any way that actually we can undo such thing like keyword stuffing and all that?
Yeah, well, actually, so there are SEO tools out there which you can simply run, audit your website, right? And these will basically throw out the so-called red signals, which you should ideally correct. So I think if you look at SEO from a very logical layman's approach, always ask yourself, what's so great on my website that I deserve to be on first page of Google? Does my website have substance? Am I able to add value to the user? Right? Am I able to give him or her a good user experience when he arrives? Yeah. So these are key things which you need to ask yourself. And if we are not doing that, then Google is smart enough to understand. Even though everything works with algorithms and logic and all that, Google is so smart enough to sense all these things, and methods which are used to game the system are also easily detected now by Google. So Google is always one step ahead than the so-called black hat SEOs, right? So yeah, so the things used to work 5-10 years ago don't work anymore, right? So today it's all about adding value to the user, having good substance on your website, optimizing it well. Yeah, I think and that should win the game for you.
Awesome. Okay. But it's doable. I believe, right? I mean, although it's sounds a bit challenging, but then again, I think everything can start from a very simple steps. That's why if you guys are interested, you guys can find out Azhar's program. So now, before we go too deeper into the next question, now TY has a question about, are there any recommendation tools for keyword research competition hits per month, especially tools that let us monitor and automate link building? Wow, that's a good one. Seriously.
Automate link building.
Is there such thing? Automate link building? Come on, TY. Really got I don't know.
Yeah. So tools are a dozen a dime. There are plenty of them out there. New one keeps coming every day. Now, if you're looking for the gold standard ninja kind of tools, then you need to be ready to pay for them. Some of the best known tools in SEO are a tool called SEMrush, another tool called Ahrefs. Yeah, these are
cheap.
kind of, yeah, and they're not cheap. Absolutely. So I think you need to prepare to pay a few $100s every month if you need to use. Now, these kind of tools will give you a lot of information, a lot of data. They'll tell you what's good with your website, what's not so good. It will also give you opportunities where you can do link building, right? But they're not going to build the links for you, right? Link building is something which you need to do manually. Do not go about doing any automated link building, because if Google is able to smell the rat, then it may actually penalize you. and it will be very difficult to recover from these penalties. So link building, yes, is very important, but needs to be done the right way. And again, ask yourself, why would people link to me? Right?
Value add must have some
Yes.
value.
Right.
Yes. So you need to have something which is of value. So create link-worthy assets on your website. Link-worthy assets.
Link-worthy assets. Can you give us a bit of some like examples? Like what would be the link-worthy assets?
Right. So if you are showing thought leadership on on a particular topic, right? You present the content in a very digestible and properly formatted way. You value add with infographics or DIY videos and so on and so forth. Then perhaps they would be called link worthy. Or you have like an online tool which helps people get a quotation on the fly, right? And an online calculator or something of that sort. Or it is some kind of original research which has been done, which has not been done, and your company or you have compiled this research and stats and statistics and all. Yeah, so these are things which are unique, original content, not done previously, value add, right? So I think I would call these as link worthy assets.
Awesome. So in a way, you still have to do a lot of work on your own in order to actually stand out. So the thinking process would be really coming from really about creating value for the users, I believe so.
Yeah.
Now, Chiwa has another question. Today's audience is quite active, which is good. Now we probably will go to about 2 questions today. Anyway, but before that, we go to Chiwa's
Out of
first. Yeah, out of 10 that we have, right? Chiwa is asking about Google Panda and Penguin. What about polar bear? Is there such thing? He's asking whether these things are still around to keep keep webmasters in check.
Yeah.
What's that?
Right. So
Algorithm.
Panda, penguin, hummingbird, right? There's a whole Google zoo, and these are
Yeah.
all right. These were the code names given to the algorithm updates which Google used to roll out, and these were announced. Right nowadays, Google doesn't announce these kind of updates happen automatically
don't?
every week. Yeah, unless if it's a
my.
very big kind of big update, then they may announce. Like the recent one
see.
was about the core web vitals, which is kind of Google gives more weightage to UX signals on the website. But yeah, smaller updates are not. They are no longer officially announced kind of things. So Panda and Penguin, yes. So Panda was an update rolled out by Google to punish websites which were in thin content. Right, they didn't have any substance, and they were ranking on first page of Google. Now they were ranking on first page of Google probably because they managed to build a lot of backlinks to their website from here and there, right?
I see.
Through
A backlink farm.
yeah, from a
money.
link farm and all those kind of things, right?
Yeah.
So Google says, hey, if you don't have content on your website, you don't deserve to be on the first page, right? So that was Panda update. Penguin update was more to do with link building strategies, especially anchor text over optimization. So say if I want to rank for bicycle shop Singapore, I want to rank for that, then I will try to build links from other websites, and every link I will kind of try to anchor text them with this keyword, bicycle shop Singapore. So all my links will have the same anchor text. So Google will now looks at this and says, okay, so looks like you are trying to deliberately rank by just building links and over optimizing the thing. So Google rolled out these kind of Panda, Penguin, Hummingbird, and many other updates all through this past 8 to 10 years, where it systematically tried to weed out all these spammy and kind of unethical way of doing SEO.
Actually, this guy really liked the zoo very much.
And Chiwa said he engaged Black Hat services before. Wow, really? Okay, I think that's pretty cool. But what is Black Hat really? As in, like, just for the benefit of the audience, what kind of skill consider Black Hat?
Yeah. So Black Hat is basically employing tactics which are disliked by Google. Is basically tactics that are used which are used to game your way to the first page of Google. Right, and these tactics are tactics like building links from link farms, cloaking your website. That means trying to bury links under the same color as your background, and those kind of things. So link wheels and making these so-called PBNs or personal blog networks, where websites are developed just for the purpose of selling links. So Google basically doesn't like people to buy links. Google says that link building should happen naturally, editorially. If you are good in your stuff, then you should automatically get links. That's what Google's stance is lah. I mean, in terms of link building. So yeah, people who do all these kind of tactics, build websites just for the purpose of giving out backlinks. Yeah, those are things which are kind of categorized as black hat services.
Right. So Chiwai, don't do that. No good, no good. So don't do that anymore. Okay. And Chiwai is saying SEMrush is awesome, but kind of I think definitely. But the thing here is, if you need to actually get the work done, somehow you just need some tools, right?
Yeah.
So, all right, now Kimberly
This
is
is
here.
not a sponsor ad from SEMrush, by the way.
I wish, right? So, Kimberly is here, saying hi to Azhar. Right?
Hi, Kimberly. Hi, good to see you.
Right, and Richard is here. Richard is, Richard, what is this? Doubling. Okay, on content ideation. What are the thinking process? Thought framework on it. Asking this because term creativity is tad vague and open for interpretation. Second question, how about GMB? What the hell is that?
Google My Business.
Google My Business and Google Merchant and image search optimization.
Hey, this is a consultation question already, no? Richard,
yeah, Chiwai, you probably want to book a session with Azhar.
It's Richard.
Richard.
Sorry, it's Richard. It's Richard.
Consultation.
But just in the context, Azhar, maybe you can give us a bit of just the idea of it.
Absolutely.
Tease Richard a bit. Don't give them more.
Yeah, just give 1% out of 100. Enough.
Right. So content ideation maybe sounds a bit too too sophisticated. So let me just talk in simple words, right? Content ideation equals keyword research. Keywords which are going to bring you qualified traffic, the traffic that you want, right? Now, when we do websites, obviously we're going to talk about our products and services, right? But beyond that, what are you going to talk about? So maybe you start a blog, right? And you start blogging, you publish posts, right? Blog posts. Now, each of these blog posts, you want to attract traffic, right? And you want to attract traffic that is meaningful to your business, right? Traffic that will come, it will engage with your content and perhaps convert into a lead or a download or whatever your objective is, right? So content ideation is basically going through that process, identifying topics and keywords, right, which you think are going to be beneficial to your business, going to be bringing the right traffic, and then after ideating, bringing these ideas, do the work of creating content that is aligned with these keywords, these ideas, right? And if we do that well, we optimize that well, hopefully it will bring us the right traffic, right? So content ideation, after you do content ideation, you create the content, right? After you create the content, just creation of content may not be enough. You also need to amplify your content. So that's where content promotion comes in, right? So that content promotion involves reaching out to other website owners, telling them, hey, we have done this original piece of content. Perhaps it's going to be useful to your community. Why don't you link to us, right? So that's where content promotion and link building go hand in hand. And of course, to see whether you are performing well, it is going well as per your objectives, you need to measure. So content measurement comes as the last part, right? Ideation, creation, promotion, measurement. Yeah,
right.
4-step process.
Right. Richard, happy? Thank you so much, Azhar, for sharing. I think this is really
sure. I think Richard's question on GMB, perhaps we can address a bit later if we are talking about local SEO. It's very important, and I think everyone should know about that as well. Yeah.
Wow,
okay, cool. Now, before we go, then we want to dive into the Richard's another question. So he's talking about the content consumption. Like the number of hits, time on content, any other interactions. But a lot of people creating content, but it's not consumed. Doesn't that contradict the notion? Yeah, okay. I think you mentioned about the content promotion part, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So, Richard, you're right in saying, right, that everybody is publishing content. I think if I'm not wrong, more than 7 million blogs get published on the web every day.
Wow.
So
every day.
Yeah, 7 million.
Day.
Yeah, I think you can Google and check that statistics. I think it's pretty much there. A few years back, it was 2 million. Nowadays, it's 7 million because people are creating content like hell, right? Everybody's doing content marketing. So one fine day, we decide, okay, I'm going to start a blog. I'm going to start writing on my website. So what? Right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So after we create the content, we need to ensure that people consume the content, right? So that's where UX comes in, using different forms of content comes in, promoting your content, pushing out your content comes in, right? So always remember that principle, COPE, create once, publish everywhere. COPE, COPE, right? So create your content, put it on social media, share it with your friends, right? Reach out to other webmasters, see if they can give them a cover of your post so that they can easily publish it, and in the process try to get a backlink as well. So these are things which will underpin your SEO.
Awesome.
I think we need to replace the word publish as in a COPE to promote. Because it's no longer just publishing, it's you actually need to actively promote.
Correct. Yeah,
I would agree.
you're right, Andrew. Yeah,
Because if basically you want to create a content because you want to make Google believe that you are creating value, but then if your content is not being consumed, then Google won't know because there is no traffic, there is no value that is being created in between, right? So yeah, I think that's really something that a lot of people are neglecting, especially for those who are newbies in SEO. That's what I did. I was working on creating content, but then again, right, the traffic never go because of course nobody knows. Right,
the
so
days
I think that's a very good
building
one.
it and people will come it's over already.
Yeah, so the COPE is good. What, create once, publish everywhere.
Or promote
I would say
everywhere.
publish
Promote
slash
promote everywhere.
Okay, right.
publish
That's
promote everywhere.
exactly. So what about keep surfacing the same content on social media? Would that help in any way? Meaning that the one piece of content I probably post it every other day, or not?
So I think social media runs on a different track, right? Now, things which you are publishing on your website, if you're doing like a 1,000-word blog post, right, then you can do a summary of that and post it on your social media,
Right.
and it could be LinkedIn, it could be Facebook or whatever. You can even post your content on Google My Business nowadays, right? So so I mean, of course, the same content you can't keep publishing multiple times. So your social media will definitely have a different content calendar, right? Besides just hardcore content. I think social media is more of curation and maybe lesser of creation, right? So when we are talking about SEO, it's more of you creating your own original content, right? So you don't have to post so frequently. uh, I think with content, I personally believe it's more of quality over quantity, right? So 7 million are getting published every day, so we don't want to run with the rest, right? I mean, how are we going to stand apart, right? So I think always keep quality, give that a bigger mind share. Publish one great post a month is also fine, right? But make sure that you do that well, cover it in depth, is unique, is original, adds value, satisfies user intent. Yeah, that should bring us good traffic.
Okay.
Cool.
Makes
Thank you
sense.
so much. And we just want to quickly highlight our,
Abba, hi.
saying hi.
Hi, Abba.
Abba is
Hi.
here. Abba say, it's
Wow.
always so much to learn.
Yeah.
And then we have Danielle from Spain. What's up? And,
Hola.
Danielle.
yeah. And what Shiwa is saying, okay, you guys go and now next time what you guys should do, right? When you are actually going on show, when we are going on show like that, you guys should start another Zoom call discussing so that you can synchronize your questions. I think that will be a good plan, guys. Do that. Cool, right?
I mean, Kimberly got a question.
Oh wait, Kimberly has a question. Wait, okay. Cool. Let's bring it up from Kimberly. In your expert opinion, what would be the sure win ways to stand apart and promote your content on social media, besides just having very good content? I mean,
that's a good one.
Is it SEO related, Azhar? Would you be able to help on this?
Yes, and maybe I think we can learn a bit from Jason as well. I'm sure he'll have some ideas to do it. But I think sharing on social media is obviously, you need to, when you share on social media, there'll be things like hashtags and shout outs to people and so on. So I think those are things you can perhaps capitalize on. Content from your website, you can make sure that you put a good feature image so it is picked up by the Facebook's open graph and displays well. Have a short and sweet summary of your thing. Of course, when they click on it, they will come on your website. How exactly you may share on social media, maybe perhaps I don't know.
Oh
Jason.
yes,
Yeah.
100%. I have the best answer for that. Run ads. I mean, seriously, the best way to distribute your content is to run ads. All right, so that's the best way, because you see, seriously, a lot of people actually try to first thing first, social media reach in one way or another it's always at the decline. We all know that. Okay,
Yep.
the organic reach is always like almost none. So what's the point of hoping? Why not just run ads, right? How many of you agrees that the run ads is the best way? Like Brody's just giving one. But seriously, running ads is really a very good way to get the right people to consume your content. Because talking about outreach, right? What is the best way of, if you really have a very good piece of content, okay, then you have the 100,000 of reasons to really go out and run ads and tell everybody about it. Don't you agree?
Can
So,
I add
Andrew, want
something?
to say something? Yeah.
Just want to add a bit of more of the logic part. So when people consume Facebook, it's actually on mobile, even Instagram also on mobile. So first, what are the important things are in order? First of all, is time-stopping image or video, followed up by your call to action and the CTA button. That's the second thing. You have to optimize it. You throw inside the headline analyzer. Then finally, thirdly is your brand. The one, nothing much you can do. Then fourth is your social proof, as in your like, comment, share. This one you can do something about it. Then finally, your copy. Copy, of course, is the first few lines that people see. You must be engaging, and your objective is to make sure people press the see more, read more. Then this order to optimize the thing. So this is one for the social media, and the questions are coming in.
Yeah.
I think we have the right forum, guys. We are covering all the angles: search, social. We have Andrew. Wow, you guys are in for a treat.
And of course, email works really well. Seriously, I mean, one of the best way for you to promote content is when you have an email list. Every time you have a video, because there is another angle of it, which is I just recently learned, where if you publish a video on YouTube, the first 24 hours is really the key. You have to get really the right people. You really need to ramp up the viewership in the first 24 hours, so that YouTube will pick it up as, oh, this is a good content. Then you will actually have a lot more recommendations coming from YouTube. So the best way, if you have been growing a list, and I think it's definitely beneficial to do something on that, right? Don't you think, Andrew?
Distribution is key. So email helps. You have social media as well. But yeah, email as a one-to-one channel, excellent, because you're talking to your audience directly.
Yeah. So yeah, I hope we help. Kimberly, thank you so much for joining this and asking the question. And we have Richard again now. Richard is very active today. How important is instant article and accelerated mobile pages for SEO? Wow. Okay. Considering mobile traffic has overtaken desktop, I think that's a valid one.
Yep.
Yeah. So what's
So
the take?
AMP, yeah. So AMP was, I think there was a lot of hype about AMP. A lot of people started migrating their pages, make it AMP compliant as well. Of late, I think the rally seems to have been fizzled out a bit, because the adoption was not very widespread, not as much as what Google would want. Of course, AMP was a Google, project, isn't it? So, in fact, at one point of time, I was actually advising my clients as well to, you should start doing AMP and all that. But at this moment, not anymore. Requires a lot of different work, and basically Google just caches all these web pages on its own servers, right? So AMP was basically that. So it's kind of lately, as per what we hear from others, it has kind of fizzled out a bit. So I would rather spend my energies and effort on other things, like looking more at the core web vitals, looking at user experience. Of course, AMP is also one of the parts of that, but I think trying to do more on the core web vitals updates rather than these.
Yeah.
I think
okay.
even the web builders have also adjusted to be mobile compliant. So a lot of so-called designs, templates, or either even the coding itself, they are optimized for web anyways. For mobile anyways.
No, mobile compliant is a given. That is non-negotiable. Your website should be mobile responsive. You cannot do SEO if you're not mobile responsive. In fact, Google's index is a mobile first index. That means Google will index your mobile version of your website first, then only it will look at the desktop index. Right.
Oh, okay.
So
Well, that's
yeah, so
interesting.
mobile, your website needs to be mobile, responsive. Right. AMP is a slightly different technology where Google caches the mobile version of your page on its own server. So
Oh,
when you click if you have AMP enabled, then Google will like kind of store duplicates of your pages on its own servers, which it will be able to render with lightning speed.
I
right,
see.
Yeah.
So it's very similar to the Facebook's instant article, which is like they also cache
Perhaps. Yeah.
your version of
On
article on
platform.
Facebook server, on platform. So it will be
Yeah.
lightning. I mean, on Facebook side, I think, it works because we have got this commercialization connection in it. Because if you do this instant article connection, Facebook share the so-called the ads revenue with you because you become a publisher. So it works well for those news portals and all that to do that. But then again, you'll be losing out in terms of your own native advertisement revenue because they will be showing only the Facebook ads. So everybody will have to strike a balance in between. I see some portals actually stay, some portals actually shifted away because maybe they want more control on their own. But thanks for the question, Richard. And we have Fazila agree to the ads part. Okay, that's a good one. So let's run ads. Okay, now let's move to the second question. Yeah, down to the 36 minutes down.
Oh, that's the second question. I was just
Yeah, finally we get to the second question. That's a good one now.
Okay.
Okay, now this is a very good question. All questions are crafted by Manfred, so we have to give him credit for this one. So I think this is a very good one because e-commerce is definitely one of the most important area that we have to look into. But then we realize e-commerce is not as easy to do SEO as compared to a normal website. So what would be your advice for e-commerce website, Azhar?
Right. So I think every brand today is an e-commerce brand, isn't it? COVID has just accelerated every retailer to move online, right? And that they called it the great retail migration, right? Retailers migrated to online. So how do we ensure that now that we cannot live without e-commerce, how do we ensure that we do SEO for that, right? So I think from Google's point of view, so we have SEO, we have SEM, two ways of being on Google, right? So I'll quickly touch upon SEM first. SEM, Google Shopping ads. I'm sure you have seen something called as Google Shopping at that carousel which you see on top.
Yep.
You may want to do those ads, right? Few reasons. First is Google is developing its own marketplace where you can even have your product there for free. Right. The other thing is those shopping ads, also called as PLAs, product listing ads. They are on top of the search ads, right? They are displayed on top of the. So if it is a product based search, you are well off to get traffic from doing Google shopping ads. Now that requires a slightly different setup. Something we need to enable something called as Google Merchant Center, right? And you need to basically provide a feed to Google, feed of your products, which Google will show in that carousel, right? So that's the SEM part. So I won't go into greater detail onto that. Focus is SEO, right? Now coming to SEO. So SEO for e-commerce website, also in terms of steps, it is not very different from how you would do a static website. So obviously you want to start first with your keyword research. Keyword research will give you direction to do your SEO, right? And for e-commerce, the choice of keywords you use is very important. So I would shortlist basically kind of transactional keywords such as buy so and so product, or keywords in which the brand and the product name is included, right? So these would be my ideal keywords. Also include keywords which have some element of lower funnel inside the lower end of the funnel. So in the lower end of the funnel, what do we usually encounter? We encounter words like reviews, comparisons, discounts, coupons, free shipping, right? So these are typical, these so-called words
Action
should
words.
be part, these kind of words should be part of your list of keywords that you have shortlisted to optimize for, right? So having shortlisted these kind of keywords, then you go and do a keyword driven information architecture, right? Keyword driven information architecture, basically a site structure right, which embodies these keywords. Basically, you distribute these keywords to your site structure. Site structure is informed by keyword research. The other thing you may want to do for e-commerce is to have a proper logical product taxonomy, depending on how big your e-commerce store is, right? So categories, main categories, subcategories, and then products, right? So the site structure has to be properly architected, right? So it provides a good navigation flow, provides for a good user experience. Things like, you know, your product page shouldn't be more than 3 clicks from your homepage. Any product page on your website shouldn't be more than 3 or 4 clicks from your homepage, right? So it cannot be a very deep nested structure. So structure is very important, right? So keywords, structure, right? Then comes content. What are you going to put on your web pages, right? Because content is the one which will basically do justice to your keywords. You need to have content which will make you rank for these keywords. So content, we are talking about e-commerce sites. Obviously, there's going to be product description. Now, in most e-commerce stores, what happens is people will copy the product description from the supplier or the principal or the brand owner. So everybody who's selling that product will have the same product description, isn't it? That leads to duplicate content. Now, if you're doing that, then it's not really going to help your SEO. You need to come out with your version, your unique product description. So you need to be a bit more creative in that. You need to rewrite the product description, right? Add value to the product description. Have things like product FAQs, or make provision for user generated content. That means a user is coming there, maybe he or she has bought the product, and then they put in their feedback, right? Augment these product pages with perhaps a blog strategy, where you write about things as what you can do with this product, right? So yeah, so content needs to go beyond your product description, right? Other thing which you may want to do is leverage what is known as schema markup. Schema markup is additional metadata about your product. When you embed schema markup into your product pages, your listing on the so-called SERP, search engine result pages, basically the result page, will look much more sexy. It will look much more attractive.
Comprehensive also.
Yeah, sometimes we see that there are a lot of product pages with stars, right, showing the reviews or showing the price or showing the quantity. So this is additional information which Google will surface from your website if you have something called as schema markup implemented. So schema markup is implemented for different schemas. Schemas could be product, it could be recipe, it could be location, it could be person, etc., etc., etc. Right? So this way you can attract more clicks to your product page, right? So keywords, site structure, content, unique content beyond the product description, and augment this content perhaps with a blog strategy which shows what you can do with that product, right? Now the last thing is link building, right? Link building, obviously, even an e-commerce website will require backlinks, especially if you want to rank it. Now link building becomes even more trickier with e-commerce websites because people will usually not link to a product page because it sounds very promotional, right? So how do you get backlinks for an e-commerce website? So few ways. First is, as I mentioned, the blog strategy should help. People may link to your blog, right? But they may not really link to your product page. So once they link to your blog post, once you get authority into your blog, then from blog you can do internal linking to your product page to give those pages more authority, right? Other way of doing backlink is perhaps reach out to do a bit of influencer marketing, give free trials to ambassadors, people like Jason, who has a lot of followers, right? And maybe if he decides to feature your product or whatever, right, then you can perhaps get backlinks in, in that process. Yeah, so slightly different link building strategies may be required.
Right,
So
right. So who
affiliate
wants
marketing would be useful in these aspects for link building, wouldn't it?
Sorry,
Sorry, you were saying?
So for deploying an affiliate marketing strategy would be also a good way to encourage link building, right?
Yes, possible.
Affiliate, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So by the way, guys, who wants SEO class from Azhar, specifically for e-commerce businesses? Come, this is where we do survey, so we can actually probably do a class together for you guys, and then then you guys can really learn something that's really useful in order to help you jumpstart your SEO for your e-commerce website. So by the way, at the moment, if you guys want to learn from Azhar, this is the site that you can go, websell.com.sg/digital-marketing-training. So this is really somewhere that you can go and connect with Azhar and see what he has got to offer in this program. But of course, I think you can find some contact information if you want to get in touch with him. So wow, that was seriously super technical. My brain is kind of like, okay, I want to rest for a bit anyway. But
just to add on to the confusion, what you described for e-commerce is suitable when you have your own store. But would that kind of strategy works when you're running a business on marketplace? But you don't control that platform, is it?
Yeah.
Marketplace
So
means
marketplace. So
Shopee and
Andrew,
stuff, right?
yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, you're referring to Shopee
Shopee,
and
Marketplace
Lazada.
and
Lazada.
Shopee, yes, yeah.
Yeah. So marketplaces are not your own media, right, Andrew?
Yes.
So we don't want to do SEO for. I mean, okay, there are other ways to promote your store on Shopee, right? But I think when it comes to SEO, you would be actually doing for your own media. Your website is your own media, right? You will
I
write
see.
content for it, you will optimize it, you have total control over it. On Shopee, you can't even do, I mean, they're not going to give you backend access to your this thing, right?
True.
Yeah.
What if we actually put a link from our Shopee description back to our site? I'm not sure whether it's allowed. Anyway, I don't know.
Oh,
Some
your
dumb
site to the
question.
Shopee description.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that can help a bit. Because okay, Shopee is a huge. I mean, it's a huge website, right? With millions and
Right.
millions of pages, right? Now,
Yes.
from where you get the link is also important. What is the authority of the page from where you are getting the link? That is also important, right? So all links are not created equal. Different links have different
Yep.
values.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. That's kind of like something that I heard from my previous instructor. But anyway, seriously, I think I returned 99% of whatever I learned from him back to him already. Anyway, so now, with your permission, Azhar, I would like to bring up this question because I think you mentioned just now local SEO is important.
Yep.
Because just now we covered the e-commerce SEO, which is great learning. And guys, if you want to learn from Azhar, please go over to the link that I shared with you just now. And now I want to quickly round it back to the local SEO, which you mentioned that is important. So how do we do this?
Right. So guys, local SEO, as the name suggests, it is much more specific. It is much more precise, right? Doing something at a local level is much more easier than doing something on a global level. Agree? So if I am a printing services shop in Orchard Road, I just want to be relevant to people who are frequenting Orchard Road. I don't need to be visible maybe for the whole of Singapore or even for Malaysia for that matter, right? So if I'm doing SEO, let me optimize for my location, right? So in my content, I would want to mention my address, would also mention that I am a shop in Orchard Road. In my content on my website heading page or contact us page, I would say printing services shop in Orchard Road, right? When I get backlinks also, I would get backlinks from local websites, right? So all these signals tell Google that you are a local business, right? And Google always wants to personalize results for its users, right? Show things which are relevant to the user, right? So optimizing for doing SEO for local is much more easier. You will get more relevant traffic, right? How do we optimize? As I mentioned, your content should talk about the locale. Your backlinks also should have a local flavor. Another very important component of local SEO is what we call as Google My Business, GMB, as one of the persons I mentioned earlier, right? So GMB is like a social network by Google for small businesses, for businesses in fact, in general, right? And after Google kind of failed at their Google Plus offering, it's trying to promote now Google My Business quite vehemently, right? And Google My Business is tightly integrated with Google Maps, right? So there has been an exponential rise in near me searches. Do you guys use near me searches when you use, right? I'm sure you must have used. If I go out on the street, I'm looking for chicken rice, I'll search chicken rice near me, right? Now when I search for this kind of a search term, Google obviously wants to tell me which are the chicken rice vendors where I'm standing, right, nearest to me. Now all these information is powered by Google My Business. So if you are on Google My Business, Google will show you based on proximity, based on relevance, right, and based on other information which you put on your GMB profile. So it's basically your business profile on Google, right, and it's linked to Google Maps. Now there's a lot you can do with there's a lot you can do with GMB. GMB is not just a simple business listing. You can also seek reviews from your customers. You can integrate it with customer service channels. You can integrate a appointment booking system with your GMB. You can request a quote. People can actually ask for a quote from the GMB. They'll give you a call to action where you can even make a small little website inside your GMB. Yeah, you can make a small little own website. So if you don't have a website, you can make your own website within the GMB, right? You can do posts on it and so on. uh, Another thing is when people write reviews on your GMB, uh, keywords which are there in the reviews, Google will show your listing based on the text which is there within the reviews. So that's why GMB is a very powerful element, and it's very important when it comes to local SEO. So if you are a local business, make sure you are on GMB and use it to its fullest. Yeah.
Wow, wow. Seriously, some useful advice, especially for those who are actually running some physical establishments, whether you're a restaurant, a cafe, or any shop. I think
Absolutely.
that's a really important one because I do use the near me searches a lot, in fact. Yeah, because
Or
whenever I
via
go to
Google
some,
Map.
yeah,
Google
whenever I
Map
go to
itself.
near somewhere that I'm not familiar with, or even when I'm planning to go somewhere, I actually do this kind of like planning whenever I actually do this. So wow, that's a very very powerful advice. Thank you so much, Azhar.
Yeah.
Now I want to move to another question, which I want to cue it up a little bit. There are so many good questions today, thanks to Manfred. But I think I quickly want to bring this up. How should a
Yep.
newbie get started with SEO? I think this is really something, especially like people like me. I learn, but I return 99%. I only have 1% left. So how should I start if I want to actually reignite whatever information that whatever in order to start SEO in the right way? So what would be your advice,
All right.
Azhar?
Okay. So I think if you look at SEO, right, from a 30,000 feet level, the SEO rests on four main pillars. First pillar is content and UX. Content and UX. Second is on-page optimization. How do we optimize that content so that it is easily discovered by the bots, right? Content and UX, on-page optimization. Third is technical SEO, right? Technical SEO. How fast does your website load? Is it mobile responsive? Does it have a HTTPS? Are there any broken links? Yeah, these kind of things. So technical SEO. And last is the off-page optimization. Okay. Content in UX, on-page optimization, off-page optimization, and technical SEO. Now these are the like the supporting pillars on which SEO rests, right? So now if you're starting with this, right, with SEO, you want to learn SEO, you want to implement for a website, so definitely you need to have access to the website, preferably backend access to the website. So if you're doing WordPress, right, you would want to install a plugin like Yoast or Rank Math or SEO Press, right, which will help you put in your on-page optimization. Content is always a requirement. I've mentioned this earlier also. Content is king, distribution is queen, right? Content is king. So you need to have content, you need to have substance. Content, not only text, images, perhaps videos. Nowadays videos are all the rage, isn't it? So experiment with different content formats, right? So content, UX, putting it on the website, optimizing with a plugin like Yoast SEO or things like that. And also a bit of technical knowledge is required to make sure that your website is loading fast. Actually, technical SEO is a lot of common sense, right? Common sense, like not putting a 2 MB hero image on your homepage, right? Because when we would want to put a very high resolution image on my website, but then we miss the point that if you're going to put a 2 or 5 MB image, it's going to take very long for it to load, right? And Google your website loading slowly is very bad for the user experience. People, you and me, don't like to wait, isn't it? We expect a page to load within the first few seconds. If it doesn't load, then it's going to affect your SEO also, right? Whatever affects your UX is going to affect your SEO, right? So for a newbie to start, should be able to generate content. Content skills are important. Working with websites, right? Basic knowledge of websites, optimizing it is important, right? And I think these two are the key things. For a newbie to start, I would say have your own website or get access to your employer's website where you can implement all these optimization and be good at creating content. The third part, which is the more difficult part, is the outreach and all that, where you get backlinks and all that you may pick that up along the way.
Right. Thank you so
So
much,
that-
Azhar.
Just want to add on Azhar's part. Even you want to do link building, it's also come under the condition that you have good content.
Yeah.
So it's no point having a conversation. Should I do content or should I do backlinking? Because when you do backlinking, you still need content, correct or not? So you need to do content first, no matter what.
Yeah.
If you want to build, if you want to build links the right way, the white hat method of building, then it should be based on substance on your website. You need to have good content. That's the way you build links, and these links will do benefit to you. It will last forever. Google will never penalize if you do it the right way. But yeah, if you go the shotgun method of quickly building links from here and there, paying and all that, down the line Google will get ahead of you, and you might get in trouble.
Yeah. So guys, you have two ways to do this. Either you go and Google everything and go and learn from a lot of YouTube videos and all that, or the other way around is you can actually learn from Azhar. Here's the link. By the way, this is actually the link to Azhar's digital marketing training. I believe he covers SEO and beyond. So this is the place that you want to kickstart. All right. So here's how we go. Now we have several questions coming from the audience. I think we probably want to take a look at it now. TY asked about this. Link building quite wide and technical. Do you think business owners should engage the experts to do it? Or do you think it's still free to be done by the business owners? Well, I think this is a good question. Thanks, TY. Azhar, what's your take?
So link building is difficult, guys, right? Link building it's not easy. In fact, even when we do for business owners, a lot of time you also have to leverage on your own personal relationships, business relationships that you have. So it's not just a content based outreach, right? If you have a good network, if you are active in communities where you are contributing and all, it will help you to make links, right? So link building also depends on your own interpersonal relationships also, believe me, right? So it's not easy to do link building. Now, if you may want to hire an agency to do it, but always ask the agency what is their approach of link building, right? Understand the concepts, what Google likes, and then question your agency, how are they going to approach link building. If agency is going to tell you, oh, okay, don't worry, I have my network, I will build 20 links in 1 month and all that itself is a
turn around, run away.
Yeah, that stuff is a red flag. So always ask them their approach, how they're going to approach it, what is their strategy. If it appears white hat, logical for you, aligned with what Google expects you to do, then perhaps you can go ahead. And obviously these services are not going to be cheap, because it takes effort, right?
And it takes time too.
Yeah, man, it's not easy. That's why SEO, it cannot happen in a week or two. I think it actually.
But the rewards are tremendous.
Seriously.
But having said that, guys, I mean, I obviously don't want to scare you with, link building is difficult. But if you are in a business niche which is not very competitive, if you do your content and your website optimization properly, I think 60 to 70% of your SEO is already done. You can still rank on first page of Google. If you have good content, you optimize your website and your website loads fast, those basic hygiene factors, if you take care, it's not so difficult. But yeah, if you are in a very competitive niche, weight loss, cleaning services, these kind of niches, these require authority. If you want to beat your competition and to build authority, you will need backlinks.
Right.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Azhar. All right, and thanks, GY, for the question. Now, last one. I think you guys really have Zoom call. Anyway, So Richard has this. Okay, I think this is a very good question. I'd like it. Thanks, Richard. And Richard is asking, most content are in English, so hence the competition. So what is your thought on the multilingual approach on content? So yeah, I think this is a very interesting question.
Yeah, I think if your website is if you are serious about multilingual SEO, then I think you need to build your website in that language totally. It can't be like a Google Translate or something. You will need to get content written in the second language, right? Have a selector on your website where user can select either English or Bahasa or Spanish or whatever that other website is, right? And then optimize, use the same principles. The principles are still the same, right? Even if you want to do like SEO for say Baidu in China, everybody follows Google system, right? So yeah, in addition to that, obviously there are other factors. If your website is hosted in that country with a local domain, then Google will give you preference for that, right? Google always likes to show local searches ahead of global one, right? Because that is more relevant to the person who
Relevant.
is searching in that one. Yeah. So yeah, so basically concepts are still the same. But if you want to have in the other language, make sure that you either have a subdomain or a selector or a subfolder within your website where you have your entire website done in that second language as well. Yep.
So I think in short, just to quickly answer Richard's, I think Roja is no good. Let's not
Yeah.
do Roja. Let's do focus. But you can have
Separate
multiple
link.
folders and all this. Thank you so much, Azhar. I think wow, we have covered about less than half of the questions, but I think it's time for the website of the week. Today we have a very interesting scenario here where our guest is gonna do the website of the week. Because I think Manfred wanted it anyway. But I think this is a very interesting one. Anyone else did the website of the week on their own? I mean, the guest did it.
We have a few rounds, but this round will be more interesting. Let the expert do the talking.
So Azhar, you may share your screen. I'll bring it up. So
All right. Okay.
the website of the week that is gonna be featured today, I'm just gonna put it into the
It's SEO
chat
Minion.
right now. It's SEO Minion,
SEO
actually.
Minion.
Totally new to
That's
this. Minion. Why Minion? So
You're not
okay,
showing up the
Right.
screen, Jason?
wait, I think Azhar is going to
You can-
somewhere. So let me bring it up. There you go.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
Can you all
There
see
you
my
go.
screen, guys? Yeah.
Yes, we can
Yes.
see your screen.
Yes,
Good.
we can see your screen.
All right. Okay. So yeah. So I really like this tool, and many of you might have heard it as well. It's a tool called SEO Minion, and it's basically it's like a guide by the side, which tells you quickly how a particular web page is doing in terms of SEO. Now, how it comes is it comes in the form of a Google Chrome extension. Do you see this icon here?
Yep.
Right.
Yes.
So you can easily install it. Now, when we go to a website, so let me just go to one of the websites which usually use in my training programs as well, and let me go to a page here. Right now, I want to see how well is this web page optimized. Right, I'm going to turn on SEO Minion here. All right, so it just sits there. All you need to do is click on this, and the very first option here, analyze on page SEO. I'm going to click on this. So what this tool is going to do is quickly going to scan this page and tell me whether my on-page optimization is done properly or not. So it's showing me the URL, my page title, my meta description, right? Any canonicalization and so on. Then it also tells me quickly whether my content is optimized with the different headings, H1, H2, H3, and so on. Right? It tells me whether I have open graph enabled. So if I want to share it on social media, it will quickly pick up those information and so on. So this is a very simple and handy tool, which can really give you a quick overview of how your page is doing in terms of on-page optimization. And see, it also tells you the number of words. So typically you should have decent amount of content, right? So typically I would say at least 600 to 800 words in any page, and it's showing here that this page has 627 words, right? And all the key optimization factors. So yeah, so guys, I think this is a good add-on to have. Do put it on your Chrome browser, and on any page, if you're going and seeing whether this has been optimized or not, yeah, you just have to click here and do analyze SEO. So I think that is something you
Oh,
have to
that's good. I
continue.
just added it. Yeah.
Wow,
This is good.
that's
This is
pretty good. I'm just gonna do it as well.
Thanks for
SEO.
sharing.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much for sharing. Let me
Wow.
go there as well. So yeah, I think that brings us to the end of the show. Thank you so much. And guys, I believe you guys learned great amount of information today. I think it's really about how do we actually, put this together and put things to work. And if you guys want to really, in a more effective or structured way to learn from Azhar, this is the link that you can go. Azhar is a trainer himself, and according to Manfred, he's one of the best trainer that he has met. So definitely you want to consider learning from him. So that's the link that you can go. And thank you so much, Azhar, for joining us tonight. And hopefully we can see you come back again, maybe to talk deeper, because we have 60% of the questions are not answered. So we can probably cover in another 2 to 3 episodes to come. But thank you so much for joining us tonight.
It's been a pleasure, guys, having me on board. And I hope I've been able to provide some value to the audience.
Definitely.
This is a mini masterclass already.
Yeah, man, mini masterclass. So if you guys want to learn, definitely go to the link, right? And that's it, guys. This is the 3 Marketing Show. Yeah.
But before that, tomorrow is Diwali. So for our Hindus viewers and listeners, happy Diwali.
Yeah, happy Diwali.
Happy Diwali.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, thanks, guys. This is the 3 Marketing Show. I'm Jason. We have Manfred, Andrew, and we're Azhar here. See you next week, same time. Wednesday, 10 p.m. See you. Good night. Bye-bye.
Episode 60.
Yeah, it's finally.